YouTube. Good to see you guys finally. This is GirlDad Cards. I know, different view than what you're used to, isn't it? Well, I'm starting a new thing. This is the beginning of what has been dubbed, let me take these off real quick, the GirlDad Podcast, right? I'm going to come on here and talk a little bit about just some things that have been happening within the sports world. Sometimes it'll be, about college basketball. Sometimes it'll be college football, NFL, fantasy football. But the thing I'm going to talk about today, a lot of stuff going on in this sport, is the NBA. Specifically, I'm going to do a reaction to my favorite NBA team, which I'm going to put that in air quotes, favorite NBA team. I don't really watch that much NBA anymore, but it's the People's Washington Wizards, right? I am originally from the DC metro area, Nationals hat right now, and I grew up going and watching the Wizards play. I remember watching guys like Jerry Stackhouse. Remember going and seeing Michael Jordan play when he was in a Wizards uni. Gilbert and Antoine and Caron Butler. I remember suffering through the Andre Blatch stuff. Loved John Wall. Still have a jersey of his. And then we've been kind of wandering in a wasteland for a couple of years. But I gotta say, the future is bright and the front office is absolutely cooking. Unless you live under a rock, you probably heard that Anthony Davis got traded the other day to the Washington Wizards. Let's explore that trade real quick. All right. Anthony Davis is a multi-time All-NBA player. I believe he was actually named in the top 75 players of all time, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not that big of a fan of his, but that tells you something. He's a 10-time All-Star, okay? Not many guys can say that. But the Mavericks, which no one knows what the heck they're doing, traded him, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum. The three last guys are throw-in pieces to the Wizards for, frankly, not a lot. They traded for Chris Middleton, who's on an expiring contract and is old. AJ Johnson, who he's a second-year player. He looks okay. Not an all-star, not all-NBA, nothing like that. Malachi Branham, once again, role player at best. Marvin Bagley, the former number 3 overall pick, I believe, who has been a journeyman his whole career. 2 future first-round picks, one of them being conveyed this year, and 3 future second-round picks. Okay, so he got 2 first-round picks. The Wizards didn't give up much, though. Their first-round picks that they gave up were this year, as I told you, it's not the Wizards' lottery pick, potentially top 8 pick. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder pick, which, once again, unless you live under a rock, they are the best team in the NBA. They gave up that, and the second number 1 that they gave up was a first-round pick that they got way back when they traded for Jordan Poole. What was that, 2-3 years ago? They have the Golden State Warriors first-round pick for 2030. 2030? Steph will be an old man at that point, right? And you're saying, man, that should be a good pick. Not so fast, my friend. It is top 20 protected. So even if it's a good pick, it's not being conveyed out for a couple years, right? The Wizards absolutely cooked on this trade, right? And you could come to me and you could say, Tony, well, don't the Mavericks have a history of doing this? Didn't they just trade Luka last year? They did, for Anthony Davis, FYI. That was a completely different GM who has since been fired, which is wild. if you pair this with trading for Trae Young last month, which FYI, 0 picks were given up, 0 for a guy who's a 4-time All-Star, a guy who led the league in assists. By the way, we gave up CJ McCollum, good player when he was in his prime, but he's past that, and a good dude. And Corey Kispert, who at best is a role player, right? I don't even know if he's a starter in the league. You add 2 guys who are perennial All-Stars to a team that is loaded with young talent, and who knows what they could be in the future. Then you come and say, well, aren't they going to just play their way out of their high pick this year? Well, no. Both Trae and AD have been hurt all season. They're taking a gamble on 2 guys who are pretty injury prone, to say the least, but each have at least one more year of on their contracts, right? I think AD actually has 2. So what you're saying is we got these guys. We got rid of role players that could potentially help us win games. And we traded for guys that aren't going to be playing this year. My eyes are seeing dollar signs. I'm seeing top 5 pick in this year's draft. Because don't get me wrong, I like Trey Johnson. He was a good pick this year. Kid can fill it up. I like Keyshawn George. I like Koulibaly, even though he's having some issues. He's shooting less than 30% from 3, but he's a 3-and-D guy. I like Bub Carrington a heck of a lot. 6'8", 6'9" point guard, right? Won't be the scorer, obviously doesn't need that, but can be a defender, a really good defender in the mold of like a Sean Livingston, if you guys remember him. And then our focal point right now is Alex Sarr, who this year, he's kind of going off. The guy's averaging 17 points, almost 8 rebounds, almost 3 assists, and 2 blocks, right? That's really good when you talk about a guy who this is his age. By the end of the season, he'll be 21 years old, right? This is an age 20 season. You add 2 perennial All-Stars that'll slide in, and what should be a top 5 pick, which, once again, I don't know if you guys know this, but this draft is absolutely jam-packed with talent. Everybody says the 2025 pick or 2025 draft was that draft, right? You had Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, a lot of guys, Trey Johnson, right? Kaman Maluach, bunch of guys, Walter Clayton, who, FYI, watch out for him. Watch out for him. He's going to be probably Jalen Brunson in a couple of years. But this class is supposed to be better. There are at least 4 guys who are can't-miss prospects. Darren Peterson at Kansas, AJ DeBonsa at BYU, Cam Boozer at Duke, and my guy, Caleb Wilson at North Carolina, who people are comparing to a younger KG. Yeah, that's pretty high praise, right? Adding one of those guys puts this team way up there, right? It not only would allow them to compete next year, the year after, maybe the year after that as well with AD and Trae Young additions, and Alex growing, and Bilal playing good defense, Bub playing good defense, Keyshawn really starting to find his own as well, because FYI, guy's averaging 15, 5, and 5 on I think he's shooting pretty well from behind the 3-point line. Yeah, almost 38%. So it's not too bad. That you're setting yourself up for years to come. By the way, Keyshawn is 22 years old, right? Next year, he'll turn 23 at the end of this year, but most of next season, good portion of next season he'll be 22. So, you're really setting yourself up for sustained success. The worst thing to be in the NBA is be a fringe playoff team. I think with these additions, the Wizards are going to be competing eventually, maybe not next year, because it takes a lot to go from they're at, how many wins are they at right now? To go from they're at 13 wins, so they might get to 20, maybe. To go from 20 wins to 50 wins is a lot, right? But they're going to get into the 40s next season. And then from there, you have these guys, young players that are continued to develop and find their roles. And, I think the 27-28 season, they're going to be winning 50-plus games and competing for a top 3 seed in the East. That's a lock. Okay. So that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about. What do you guys think about the AD trade? I was nervous when I saw the first round picks at first and then once I started reading more into it, I kind of fell in love with the move, right? So I want to hear what you guys have to say. Are you NBA fans? I guarantee you're not Wizards fans, but the NBA fans, has your team, made any big pickups recently? And let's watch for the Wiz kids and their rise over the next 2 seasons. As always, we appreciate you guys for tuning in, always supporting us, watching our videos, liking, commenting, and subscribing, telling your friends about it. And we hope you guys are staying safe and you take care of yourselves. We'll see everybody soon.